So often we find ourselves down in the weeds talking about how computers are going to change our lives, how connected devices are going to alter the way humans think. I decided to put together this very straightforward look at how connected devices are actually going to interact with us on a daily basis and what some of their strengths and, frankly, some of their limitations are. And the good news is there's never a scenario where the human doesn't exist. Well, at least what we can see now. If we take a step back and we think about how a human actually makes decisions, what do? We observe something, we interpret it, we evaluate it, and we make a decision. Yeah, granted, some of those decisions are good and some not so good, but we observe, interpret, evaluate, and decide. It's exactly what we're trying to get machines to do as well. Of course, they're missing lots of pieces. But with that in mind, let's stay on track and talk about the machines for a minute. So, years past, we had structured environments. I've got a data set, and data belongs in this table and these fields, and that's how I'm going to deal with it. Well, today, that isn't the case. It's mostly unstructured, and so much of it is natural language, but that language has to remain contextual. And if you're even contemplating connected devices for your business, you should start now with gathering your corpus of data. Remember, these machines, we have to curate that data, and that's a process between man and machine. And that corpus of data is what we'll use in the third step when we come to try to train and teach, advise the computer. When we talk about advising a computer, it's still not doing anything for us. We have to get it through the ingestion process, taking all that information in, processing it, creating metadata tags from it, displaying that data in what's commonly known as a knowledge graph, and trying to establish at one point where the ground truth is. And that requires a human to interact their expertise through normally some question and answer process that then the computer can start to learn these patterns of domain knowledge. And of course, that doesn't go unattended. A human has to do these periodic insights and put their intuition into it. They are constantly updating and interacting with this information to make it completely relevant. And it's only after this point that your environment and your, whatever you call it, your cognitive computing environment is ready to be asked questions, both human and algorithmic questions, to give you a range of responses and recommendations backed up by evidence. It's also ready to try to give you some new insights or patterns that have been locked away inside of the information that a computer uniquely can produce. And that really moves us into our final area, which is evolving our expertise. Why do I actually need a computer? I've been doing pretty darn good on my own. And so many people ask that, especially with the confusion created with this whole how men and women, man and machine are going to interact with one another. So what's so different? The key thing that's different is we can identify new possibilities by throwing out these hypotheses and starting to process these hypotheses and string through these logical components of evidence so we can score them and come up with better and more informed decisions, things we might not have seen by just looking at the data from the human perspective. And so this ability to have these weighted evidence scores increase our confidence levels, and they actually start to democratize expertise. And we're really trying to accelerate that expertise across our organization and get a whole nother set of possibilities generated from your corpus of data. It's really going to change the way we make decisions and offer and discover patterns faster than any individual or group of individuals could ever do in the past, in meaningful and relevant ways. So those of you who see these connected machines and may often go back and watch Terminator and think of Skynet, you can get that out of your head. The idea of man, the human, and the machine as one in harmony just evolves us overall. That's all.